I, 33, male, have just discovered something about my wife, 29, female, that makes me question everything about our marriage. I wasn't looking for trouble. I was looking for my passport. We had planned to visit her cousin in Montreal next month, and she swore that my passport was in the office cabinet. I opened the drawer, rummaged through the folders, and found it, tucked between a folder labeled car insurance and a completely unmarked manila envelope. A small black leather document holder I had never seen before. Inside were several items. The first was a driver's license with her photo but no name. Not even her maiden name was listed. The first and last names were completely different. The second was a statement from a bank account we didn't use, with a balance of $438,217.54. The third was a train ticket from 2 months ago to a city she had always claimed she had never been to. It was like I had stumbled upon the life of a stranger in the middle of my office. My hands were sweating so much that I almost dropped the folder. That evening at dinner, I tried to act casual. I told her I was sorting through our documents and came across her old papers with a different name on them. She didn't even blink. "Oh, those are old. I changed my last name after a difficult breakup. I told you about that." She had never told me that, and the way she said it, calmly, evenly, as if reading from a script, made me cringe with nausea. I wanted to get to the bottom of it, but she was already talking about a new TV series she wanted to watch with me. I sat there nodding, screaming inside my head, "Who are you really?" The bank statement wouldn't leave me alone. "We have savings, of course, but nothing close to $500,000. Where did that come from? Was she hiding money from me? Was she hiding money for someone else? I've always trusted her with our finances. She pays most of the bills, I take care of the mortgage. We have a joint account for everyday expenses. But this was something else entirely. A life she had kept secret. When she left for a client meeting the next morning, I called the bank listed on the statement. I said I was her assistant and needed to check her recent transactions for planning purposes. Without proper authorization, they wouldn't give me any details, but the bank representative said something strange. The account regularly received deposits from TSI Holdings. I had never heard of this company. When I asked what it was, she hesitated and replied, "I'm afraid we can't discuss our client's business." From her tone, it was clear that this was not a normal salary account. That week, I noticed that she was leaving the house late at night, midnight, sometimes later. When I asked where she was going, she smiled and replied, "Just driving around town. I spent too much time in front of the screen today." Sometimes she mentioned a late call with a client on the West Coast, but she still left the house and didn't take the call at home. She would return a few hours later, smelling of unfamiliar perfume. On Friday evening, I decided to follow her. I waited until she left, got in my car, and stayed about 6 cars behind her. She drove downtown to an area where most of the stores were already closed by 9 o'clock. She parked in front of a tall glass building with curtain windows. She went inside without showing any ID. The next morning, I looked up the address. It wasn't a restaurant, bar, or even an office. It was a private club, members only. Not a social club, but more of an elite networking center for politicians, executives, and people who don't want their names in the paper. You don't get in unless you're important or work for someone important. I didn't question her. Instead, I watched. Over the next week, she went there 3 more times, always at night, always dressed better than she ever had for marketing work. When I asked her about her plans for the evening, she smiled and replied with something like, "Just having coffee with a client," or "dinner with business partners. I might be late." I dug into TSI Holdings. It wasn't easy. The company doesn't have a proper website. To find it, you have to dig through corporate registry data. It's a shell company, the kind that owns other companies that own other companies, all registered in places with favorable tax laws. And in a government lobbying database buried 3 levels deep, there was her old name listed as advisor. I spoke with her that evening. I told her I knew she wasn't a marketing consultant, that I knew about TSI Holdings, and that I had seen her at the club. She didn't get angry. She didn't even look surprised. She just smiled, slowly, as if she had been waiting for this. I was wondering when you would figure it out, she said. She said she was a political intermediary. She connects people, business leaders, politicians, foreign clients, who need each other's influence. Her clients pay her to quietly solve their problems. When I asked why she had kept it from me, she replied, "The less you know, the safer you are." I pressed her about the money. She called it her rainy day fund. She said we could retire tomorrow if we wanted to, live anywhere in the world. Her tone sounded like an offer, but also like a cage. Then she said something that made me freeze. "If we ever break up, there are people who might think you know too much. Could be dangerous." She didn't say it as a threat. She said it as if she were reporting the weather forecast. The next morning, while she was out, a black car pulled up to our house. The driver left a small metal suitcase with no markings on it. When she came home and saw it on the kitchen table, she turned pale. "Did you open it?" she asked. I hadn't, but the fact that she asked that question immediately explained a lot to me. That evening, I left. I took my passport, some money, and went to a cheap hotel in a neighboring town. I don't know if I'm overreacting or if I've stumbled upon something that could ruin my life. Part of me wants to run away and never look back. Another part wants to find out who my wife really is, even if the answer kills me.